I'm Jordan Smith, and we're back to talk back for teens. Our topic for the evening is sports and academics, the balance of both, which one rules in our lives. And I'm here with my friend.
Dawn Seabloom.
And Don is.
Currently, I am the bowling coach at North Star Christian Academy. I've also coached other sports, including softball, soccer, basketball, and I was previously the phys ed teacher for Greece Christian School.
Okie dokie. And we're also here with you guys. What are your names?
Steven, I'm 12.
Justice, I'm 14.
Adrian, I'm 14.
I'm Paul, and I'm 14.
My name's Salvatore John, and I'm 12.
Khalifa and 13.
So my biggest question was like, what sports are in your lives right now? Are you guys into sports? Any of you?
Yeah, I'm in sports.
Yeah,
What?
I was on the Finney North Star football team.
Okay.
That just ended.
I'm in basketball right now.
Football, basketball,
Soccer.
Basketball.
anything?
What have you played before?
Swimming.
Yeah? Okay. And Mr. Salvatore, do you play sports?
I played soccer when I was like really little, but not at this school. No, not in school.
Okay, so do you feel like it's one that is better out of all the sports, more strenuous, more? Yes.
Well, my understanding is that football is like one of my greatest sports ever because it's more active. It's a violent sport and it's the most contacted sport ever.
I think basketball is the best sport.
The
Well,
best.
Well, my favorite, in my opinion. Well, because it's really competitive, and it's you have to be skilled for it, and it puts a lot of pressure for you, and everybody runs like in like other sports, like not everybody runs all the time, so like you get your conditioning in too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we don't have any track stars, so basketball is a lot of running.
I used to do track.
Used to do track?
Yes.
All right. And other than it being like really strenuous, how does it work with your academics? Like, which one comes first for you personally in your life? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to fit in homework in between like practices and games, and sometimes like there's stuff going on with family or friends that you kind of have to miss. But if you really like the sport, then you kind of have to give it up. For soccer, it's
Wait, you have to give what up?
just give up. Like, let's say there was a birthday party, but I had a really big game,
Oh,
so then I
okay.
would have to miss the birthday party, and just yeah.
So what else have sports made you like give up per se?
Maybe like if you have stuff to do, maybe if you have a sports thing, like Adrian said, but you really want to do your homework and you need it for your grades and stuff to get your grades up because your mind is always on sports. You need to transition and stuff like that. So
Sports took some of my dinner time away.
What? Practice or eat? Like, okay.
Dinner time?
You gotta explain that.
Well, because because practice is right after school.
Mhm.
And the girls have a practice too, but sometimes we practice after. And my dinner time's at 6, and I come home at 6:30, so I miss the hot stuff.
The hot. Oh, okay.
schedule dinner time.
Yes.
So this is an interesting fact. The girls practice. Maybe it's a girls basketball team at your school. Is there?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they practice separate from you guys. They have like the gym for X amount of hours, and you have That's good to know. And so, is there anything else that you feel like you're losing playing sports, or I mean?
Well, sometimes like you lose some free time at the end of the day where you're doing your homework instead of like watching TV or playing
Oh,
video
I was
games.
gonna bring that up. TV, yeah.
And maybe when you're coming home and you're all sweaty and nasty and you're like, my mom didn't like me funking up her car, so.
Or mine.
And you just like you feel so tired, and then you got to take a shower and do your homework and stuff. So it's just taking a lot of free time away when you're already doing your homework and everything.
So what's your major reason for being in the sport that you're in? What's the draw? What's the big attraction of it? I mean, you give up a lot. Homework's tough. What is it? What makes you tick for the sport you play?
Okay. I really liked playing I liked football, watching the games, and then I wanted to do it. So when I found out Finney and North Star were gonna combine, I joined up with the football team, and it was fun. And I'm gonna keep doing it whenever they have the football team and stuff like that. So it was my motivation. I really like playing football, and it's my favorite sport.
At least it's worth it.
It's my dream.
All
yeah.
the pain and the sweat and the missed dinners, right? It's all worth it. What about you, Justice?
My favorite sport is baseball. So I've always grew up playing baseball, so it's kind of like second nature to me. So it's like I like to do it, so that's why I play baseball. So.
I started playing soccer young too, and my dad signed me up for like a soccer academy, and it's fun because we get to go to like Buffalo and Syracuse. And last year we went to Arlington, and while we were there with my family, like my mom and my sisters decided to come down even though they hate soccer. And we stopped by Washington D.C. So it was my sister's first time. She was really happy.
Wow, so sports can really take you places in a way. I think it's interesting that you pointed out that you were kind of inspired by what you saw on TV. And that's what made you want to go for football?
Yeah, it's my dream to become an NFL player for the Steelers or the Packers or the Patriots or something like that. So it was my motivation watching how they could catch and run the ball like that. So it was like my motivation and it's my dream. If not that, then basketball.
My favorite sport is swimming because it works all of your muscles and I just love it.
So, Mr. Salvatore, you don't play any sports. Do you find yourself enticed a little bit by sports at all?
I do like watching sports. You know, it's not like I hate sports. I love football. I love watching baseball. You know, I like everything. But I don't know. I just didn't want to play because I'm just gonna say this. I just like sports, and I'm in the middle.
For your health benefit or something?
Oh my God, no. It's Mr. Football Star over here, so he's coming to go.
Are you guys ever worried about putting yourself out there? Some teams have tryouts because there's an excessive number of players. Are you ever scared, worried that you put yourself out there and then you don't make it? Is that a concern?
Well, no, because over the summer and when basketball season ends, I don't stop playing. I always play, and it's not like I stop and then I start until basketball season. Like some people, like if they don't like the sport or they play just for the season, they just practice during the season. I play overall.
Oh.
So I'm not worried.
So in a way, this is kind of a part of you. It's not one of the things that you just do for, just school. I just play for my school. You play
Correct.
all around. Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, well, you can go.
Go ahead, Adrian.
Okay. Well, you always want to try to be number one, but sometimes you just can't always do that. And I play soccer like year round too, except for during the summer. And during the summer, me and my family, we travel to Europe because that's where my dad's side of the family is. But we still play soccer there because it's in Ukraine. That's like the main sport there.
Cool.
Well, I still play football, like backyard football anyways. And it's like whenever it does start up, like the tryouts, when we didn't have tryouts, but even if there was, I would still try out because that's the sport I like to play. So I would always, if there's always a football tryout, I would always go to it. If I didn't make it, then I would try again the next tryout and keep going.
Good. I have a question. Where you guys go is a small school, so many sports aren't offered at the same time, but there are some. We just had football kind of surpassed soccer for a lot of students. So has there ever been a time where you had to choose during a season of what sport you wanted to play? And how did you make that choice? Any of you have run into that problem?
Well, yeah, because at my old school, we had to pick between basketball or baseball. So I picked baseball because that's my favorite sport. So
Okay, so it was easy.
it wasn't that hard, yeah.
Well, same thing. Finney, North Star, and soccer was going on. I wanted to play football because, I know how to play soccer, but it's not my sport.
So your sport came and you were all on it.
Yes.
I know that as a coach, I look forward to certain people playing, and then when that sport comes, I've had the unfortunate realization that from parents or from the student themselves or grades, whatever, they didn't play a sport because they had already played something previously in the year. Has that ever happened to you where you just couldn't swing a second sport or a third sport? You had to give up something that you love? Go ahead, Stephen.
I had to give up basketball to do swimming because
Okay.
they were around the same time, and I hurt my ankle, so I basically had no
Swimming
no
became
choice.
Oh.
The choice was made for you, huh? Okay. All right, good.
Yeah.
What's your big choice, Adrian?
Just it's kind of hard because I have like a busy schedule, and it's kind of hard to just fit soccer into everything.
Now, I know you play soccer year-round, you said, and that's usually after school, town leagues or whatever. So you've had to give up school sports to continue on
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
So that's a big
Yeah.
choice that you had to make.
I always want to try it for school because it's fun to just play with the friends
Okay.
and
Oh,
just
okay.
have fun as a school. But sometimes I just couldn't do that because during the summer I couldn't join school soccer this year is because I went to Ukraine during the summer, and in August that's where I was gone. That's when the practices started, so I couldn't go.
I got a question. You said it's hard to fit soccer into everything. So how does that work for you guys? Do a lot of you fit your sport into your life, or fit your life into your sport? Like,
good
is it?
Well, it's kind of both because when I've put my life, like, because when I grew up, I want to be a football player. So it's like my dream and put that sport into my life. It's a confusing question. But
Like, you have other things. You have other immediate needs. You have to take a shower. You have to eat. How do these
Please
things
take
go?
a shower.
How do they fit?
just put them into places like, because I know when I get home, I'm going to have to take a shower right away because you can't let that odor just, like,
Wow.
can't let that go through the
And
house.
dinner's waiting, right?
No, I don't lose dinner time.
That's not even an option. So for the rest of you guys, do you fit your life into your sport, or do you fit your sport into your life? Like, is your life more focused on your sport? Do you wake up thinking, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that? Oh yeah, I got to do homework. I got to, with that.
No.
No, I don't. For me, I don't think my
It's the
my
second
life revolves around my sport, but
Yeah.
I fit
Yeah.
other stuff in, like extra stuff too.
Yeah,
I make sure I get all my school done and other stuff too. So it's not just about sports, but
It's
Yeah.
sport in your life.
yeah, we have
I
like
mean, it's like
church, and I have other stuff like I play trumpet too, so I play for my church orchestra.
Oh,
And
okay.
It's
so
a fun.
yeah.
It's
It's not
a-
just sports. Sports isn't the only thing in our lives.
Yeah,
Interesting.
sports are fun to play, but it's always not like it's not your only thing to do because you have your grades. You have to prioritize everything. You have to not make sure you stay on top and not always be on the bottom because that won't get you anywhere if you're always thinking about your sports.
Wow. You have something to say?
Well, when I do clean like my room, I shoot it inside my hamper.
Oh, okay. So you get practice in your everyday
That's
life.
awesome.
That's what diary
So I kind of practice along the way.
You merge them together. Okay.
Yeah.
Responsibility and fun merge together. Also, I wanted to know, does sports make a good student? You could take that question any way you want. Do sports make a good student? Do it make you more dedicated?
Well, sometimes let's say you were away for a game for any sport, not just soccer, and then you come home late, and then you have to stay up really late to do your homework. Then sometimes that could affect like the school the next day. So in some ways it could be negative.
I was gonna say that.
Had to answer first. I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna say no, it's okay. I was gonna say that sometimes like you have to keep your grades up in order to play some sports, so it kind of gives you a drive to get your grades higher too when you're playing sports. So
Do you guys feel extremely pressured that sometimes that you're buried with homework and sports?
yeah.
Or is it
Yes.
manageable? Or
Like,
let's
This
talk
year it's
about
not
that.
so bad, but last year was pretty bad.
Yeah,
So
last year was bad.
One day I came home from football and I know that I had some homework, a lot of homework, and then I did get a shower. So I took my shower and just got the homework done, but it took a lot of time. So, but it's worth my education. So
And I heard both sides of the argument. I have friends who are in sports. I myself am not, but I have friends who are in sports and say, when you're in sports, you have to get your homework done. You have to get things done before. And they travel a lot with their sport. They're on a pretty good team. And it's an out of school team, so they have to get things done before. Then there's other friends who just do the bare minimum to get by because they really dedicate their life to their sport, and they both see what they're doing is right. Which one is the right way?
Well,
For you.
yeah.
Which one's the right way for you, Adrian?
Well, for me, my mom is always pushing me to do homework right after school.
right.
All the time.
Right.
She's just really wants me to get it done because it's always going to be like a busy day ahead. And she always says, like, on the weekends, Fridays, she always wants me to finish my homework on Fridays so that we can have time on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, it is better to do that.
It's definitely the better way,
Yeah.
but sometimes it's just not possible. You have to, like, let's say, like, for basketball, if practice is right after school, then you have to do it, like, later.
So how do we do it? Do we do it to the best of our ability, or we just get her done?
Get her done.
Get her done? Ian's a get her done.
Both.
Both. I mean, studies are different for everybody. Some people can breeze through them, and some people really have to spend a lot of time. So, is it a piece of cake for you, even when you're in sports, or is it still a struggle?
Well,
Oh, Pavel.
If it's math homework, Ms. Richardson, is the homework, I mean, it's easy if you know what you're doing. But if you don't know what you're doing, then you should really pay attention. And it depends on what it is.
So like if I have practice after school and it goes up till 6:30, and then I do some of my homework, and then I go to sleep, and then since I have a long bus ride, I do some of my homework on there.
Awesome. Very good. That is a good use of your time.
Yeah.
Salvatore?
So, yeah.
I'm just gonna say this now. I'm going with Ian here. Ms. Richardson's class is hard.
It depends.
I'm gonna have that. Yeah, we have maybe 2 math quizzes
shall
in our
be
class.
No, we had a math quiz today and a test tomorrow.
No, I meant whiz, not quiz. Like a math person, like a guy who like really likes
Oh,
math.
yeah. Malik, I guess.
Yeah, Malik and Dylan.
Yeah, and Scott.
I don't know
Okay.
Scott.
Oh.
I don't know.
No, Scott.
Yeah. But yeah, well, like a lot of us don't like math, but we get by. It makes it fun, right?
Sure.
If your grades were not bad enough to kick you off the team, but if they were dipping, is that okay, just enough to keep you above board, or
For
are you
yeah.
striving for excellence?
For me, I'd rather get like better grades, but I wouldn't drop out of sports. I would just make sure that I'm making more time for like getting that done first, and then sports is second priority. So
Okay.
I would put more effort into it. if
Okay.
my grades
Just
were
try and put more
low.
effort into it, get it done.
If
Do
I-
both. Still do both.
If I had low grades, then I know I still have to strive to be better with my grades then I know I have to work harder to get a better grade each quarter. Always strive to be better or get the better grade. Something like that.
Alrighty, well, we're going to finish this discussion in a while. Back to the balance of academics and sports. Thank you. Talk back for teens. Hi, I'm Jordan, and we're back to Talk Back for Teens. Remember, to join into the discussion, just go on our blog, go on our Twitter, go on our Facebook. You can contact with us anywhere. So our topic for the evening is academics and sports, how they collide, how they come together, how they make something beautiful, beautiful students. And I'm here with?
Dawn Seablum.
All right. And back to our discussion, Dawn Seablum has some points that she would like to discuss with you guys.
Well, we talked about earlier, we talked about the importance of academics to you. Do you want to strive for better, or is just making, the minimum good? How does that correlate with your parents' feelings?
Oh. Yeah, my parents
What do
have
they want?
really high standards. They expect like 90s. It's
They
hard.
want
90s with sports. Wow. Okay.
they want good grades. Like my mom would always say, her father used to tell her 99.5 won't do. You know, always.
Whoa.
It's just she wants me to strive to be better and get like the better grade or something like that.
Like my parents, like if I was failing a subject like through the 5 week period, like my dad goes insane saying you have to raise it up to a 95. I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And then my mom's like, just try to make it passing. I'm like, okay, I'll try. And my parents always compare like to their childhood. Like they said they were like the best. No, they didn't say that. They said they had a grade average as a 4.0. I'm like, that's impossible. And they're like, yeah, you should try to be like that. I'm like, okay, I'll try.
Well, my dad, he also compares his child. He says he grew up in the Ukraine, so he said he didn't do as well and didn't have as much opportunities in education and sports as we do today in America. So he said he always wants me to do my best and try the best in everything I do. Same with my mom.
So how does that make you feel personally when the parents have the expectation up here, you feel like you're just doing everything you can,
Pressured.
sports,
Peer
yeah,
pressure?
the grades, and maybe you're still not making it. How does that make you feel?
Pressured.
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
like
A lot of
Pressure
pressure.
because we're
Like they don't appreciate what I worked for. Like
You feel they don't know how hard it is?
yeah,
Yeah. Gosh, I gotta agree. Okay.
we're like trying our best, but you know they make us feel pressured, and they want us to do the more we can. But they're saying we're trying enough, but you know we're not really trying because we're really feeling that we already did this much trying or this much effort.
What do you think, Joseph?
Well, my parents have always said just do the best you can, and then as long as you're feeling like you're doing the best you can, and then we're behind you 100%. So.
Awesome.
Don't try. I'm sorry. Don't try. Just do it. That's
All right.
Just
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 do
do
it,
it.
Nike.
Yeah, very nice. Very good.
I had a question. Are your parents this hard on you and this adamant about your sports? Do you get the pressure from your parents on your sports?
He
yeah,
told
a lot.
Yeah. So like, do they compare you to themselves as far as your sports, or other members on the team? Like, who are you compared to?
yeah.
Are you?
But most of the time it's other members on the team, and the other times it's basically just try harder. You're not doing the best you can.
My mom would say in football I had some low grades. She said that I had to, if I didn't do better grades, if I had the lowest grades, then that means the whole team wouldn't be able to play for like a week. So I guess that motivated me to get my grades up.
Well, if I got like a low score on something, my mom would be like, oh, how come you got a low score? And I would be like, well, so-and-so got a lower score. And she said, well, I don't care how much they
Same
got.
with me. I always say like,
Yeah.
Adrian
Yeah.
got
How
lower,
much you
yeah.
get.
I always
We don't
blame
care
Heard
about the other
Adrian.
person.
Yeah, we both would blame each other.
Does that motivate you, or does it like
Yeah,
crush you and just say,
sometimes.
forget it, I can't do it?
No, I think it
Pushes
I get
you?
mad or something, but
Okay.
then you come back and say sorry and try again.
I might as well just do it, just so they'll be happy, and they'll won't pressure you
Yeah.
so much.
Respect
So if
you.
you
A
do
little
it, then they'll be happy.
I mean,
Be happy.
as a parent of an athlete and being an athlete myself in school, I've come full circle. So from a parent perspective, we want you to do well. We want you to do what you want to do and play. We get enjoyment if you're enjoying it. If it's a struggle and maybe you put all this energy in and you sit the bench, I mean that has value too. But we want you to be happy. So hopefully parents aren't putting too much pressure on you. Does money ever play a factor in deciding to play sports?
No, ma'am.
No, no.
No,
I'm going to Pavel's for
not at
dinner.
all.
No, nothing. Because I know team sports, there's team fees,
Yeah.
there's uniforms, there's
football.
food out.
Yeah.
None of that. That's never a factor for anybody.
Well, I'm sure our parents would
It's a
know about that.
consideration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
parents don't like to tell us. Like in football, we'd have to bring the water to the games. Not that we didn't really spend that much, but I lost my cleats, my gloves, and then and I didn't have any bags. My mom went to the store and bought a bag, some pink gloves, and some new cleats. So
So it can get
Off the
expensive.
spot. Yeah. Wow. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I'm sure parents don't want to share prices of stuff with their kids.
right.
Do any of you feel like parents are living vicariously through you and your sport? You
Sometimes.
know what I mean? Like they're kind of reliving their glory days of being
Yeah.
a student athlete? You ever feel that?
Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah.
I see those like in movies sometimes, but I'm
Yeah.
not really like
Sometimes,
the
yeah.
dad's pushing the kid to do hockey
Yeah.
or something. But no, not really.
They're pretty much letting
Yeah.
you do what you want to
Yeah.
Basically.
do. Okay.
Are they as tough as you? Are they as tough on you as they are on your sports as they are with your academics, or is there a definite
They're-
My
divide?
parents are
No.
hard on
They're-
me with my grades and stuff.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
tougher on
Yeah.
My
grades.
parents
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
I'm
hard
about
on
to
me
supposed to
with
say,
both.
if you have
They
low grades, then you're not
tell
gonna
me-
play.
Yeah, they just
Yeah. They get.
remove it.
They don't no requirements for from sports. It's just
Well,
like
Well,
you know,
I
They
mean,
say
they want
if-
us to do our
like,
best to help the
sometimes,
team,
you know,
but
let's say
you
like
know.
I'm not that good at basketball, so I just wanted to do it just because my friends were doing it. So my mom said, "Well, Adrian, if you're not going to play,
Do it because you
why would you just do it?" And I said, "Well, it's a good point. Let's set the bench."
What are you gonna say?
My parents and me were a little low on funds. I'm just gonna say that, and that's without sports. So trying to get into a sport for me with all the expenses, it would be hard for us. So that's one reason I won't go into sport.
yeah.
Do you each feel that your academics are attainable when you're in your sport? I mean, do you feel like you can handle everything? Do you feel like you have time for it? Or is that just a pressure that builds up on you?
There's times when it's really hard and it's hard to cram everything together, but other times, it just fits together nicely.
Pavel?
Yeah, like sometimes I wish that there was no school, like it was over the summer, because you just like can sleep in sometimes, or like if you were sore one day, you can just like not like, because I have to do chores a lot for my house, so I just couldn't like take a break from it. But sometimes it piles up, but I have to find time in my schedule to fit it in.
My dad over there, like over the summers, would be like, you need to get out your work and stuff like that to practice over your work so you would be ready. And my mom would be like, you need to be on top of, like, before everybody before you go to school. And I would not want to do it because it's the summertime, so.
We discussed a lot about time management, and you guys really went over, what suffers from your sport and how you have to really plan out your schedule, your day, and what you're going to give most of your time to. I wonder, like, did your friends change when you begin to, like, dive into sports? Did you become greater friends with the team than your friends that you had before because you spent more time with the team than the friends you had?
Football? Yeah, I got to know a lot of new people. I still hung out with my friends on the football and my other friends, but mostly more with my team member friends because football was like practice every day except Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Well, we
That
had
is a
games
job.
on Saturday, so it wasn't that much after got used to it.
Well, one of my close friends are on my team, and we've
okay.
been for basketball, and we've been playing basketball together for a long time. So, like, I try to develop like another connection with other people, so just like to have the equal amount of like connections with each other. So we treat everybody like a family.
Yeah, sports brings us together. Like if you're somewhere and you meet a new person, something that you just like become better friends if you like you have like a sport that you play in common.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Similarities.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever played a sport just because a friend like asked you, or because you want to be, popularity in my day comes into playing sports. You have an identity a lot of times in a school through the sport that you play.
Like the hockey player, the soccer player guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just the jock in general. Do you go for that? Do you feel that that's played a factor in what you play?
I wouldn't say that's a big factor.
would do
More
it-
because I like the sport.
Yeah,
more
I
than-
do it because I like the sport. I want to do it, and I.
That's just a perk, right?
Well, in the end of my seventh grade year, we were all talking about like for an 8th grade, like if we all should play soccer, and I was asking my friends, and I'm like, should I play soccer? And they're like, no. I'm like, why not? I'm like, and then they're like, oh yeah, fine, we should play because it's our last year. I'm like, all right, I'll play.
I know. When I was in high school, all my friends went for cheerleading, and I went with them. I got pressured into it, and it killed me because I just wanted to play basketball. So there I'm sitting there cheering for everybody, and I just wanted to play. So I think the lesson in that is do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the friends; they'll be there.
Well, I like soccer. It's just like more inspiring. Like if they're playing, I would want to play with them, not just by myself.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I prefer actually playing the sport than just watching it.
Yeah, you want to be in the game. Like, don't hate the play, don't hate the game.
In the action.
If you couldn't play a sport anymore, what would you do?
Oh.
You couldn't play sports. Your school has no sports.
They're
Okay.
banned.
I'll play flute.
Well, I used to play band, but then I didn't like band anymore. I didn't want to do band anymore, but I went to choir, so I'm not like there's no more sports. I wanted to do basketball, but I knew I couldn't try out because I wanted to get my grades up, so I might do modified.
So you'd find something else to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
How about you,
I
Steven?
play
Or just join
trumpet.
with another school.
I would transfer to another school.
You would
Wow,
transfer.
Go as far as to transfer
Okay.
schools.
That's an option. What about you, Adrian?
I'd probably just, because I play trumpet too, and probably just practice at home. And we have a ping pong table too. My friends come over and we
we play ping pong. So
Yeah, it's
Competitive.
fun.
So if not sports, music,
yeah.
Or cooking.
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 Oh,
Chef
cool.
in the
That
house.
was always
So in that.
Because he misses dinner and stuff. That's why.
Cook right at the school.
Go right.
Well, if it's not academics and sports, and if not sports, then music. That was good to know. Don't forget to follow us on our Facebook. Don't forget to comment on our Twitter. This is Talk Back for Teens, and we'll be back at you. Thank you.
Talk Back for Teens wants to send a big thank you out to our sponsors, Simply New York, our backpack giveaway sponsor. We want to thank Simply New York and owner Patrick Bodell for their generosity, caring, and support. They're awesome. You can see what they're all about at simplynystore.com.
Talk Back for Teens wants to send a big shout out to Miss Tiana Mannon, our former teen host and our current managing editor. She has been with us for exactly 1 year, and we want you guys to flood her with tweets, show your appreciation. She's done so much for the youth, and we just like to show her our appreciation. Never forget to friend our Facebook and to follow us on Twitter, and always blog with us on our website, talkback4teens.com. Hi, I'm Jordan A. Smith, and we're back to Talk Back for Teens. I'm here with,
Tiana Mannon.
and this is Teen News.
So before we get started, I actually wanted to follow up on Malala, the girl, the Pakistani girl who was shot by, and she's doing well. So I know she was moved to Europe, and they've been treating her, and she woke up, and she's still feisty in the bed. Like, she was still talking about how this isn't going to deter her.
What?
And her father was saying, pretty much how other girls in the community that they were from that's not deterring them either. They're still fighting with her, They try to use her as an example,
Wow.
but they're not letting them deter her. So
No,
we can't
that
even
would
get our
scare
kids
me.
to go to
Yeah,
school. So.
that would scare me. Done. No education for me.
And also the Amanda Todd girl, I can't really follow up on her, but it was brought to our attention that we said she was a local girl. We just want to correct that really quick. She was from British Columbia and Canada. So, yeah, it's a very sad story there, too.
But on the good side, Instagram is going on the internet. That app that you have, you can now get it on the internet. So, yeah, put your pictures on the internet and you can see your friends and, you know.
They said it makes it easier to connect with other people. I know when I'm on my phone, I'm not bothering to search for people. So
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even to connect with other people. But, you know, I don't really go on Twitter, like, via internet. So this will be interesting to try to get on Instagram through the internet.
I know I've been trying just because I feel like it'd be easier. You know, you can just take pictures, post them when you're on your phone. But if you're on the internet, what if you want to change some things about your profile, maybe go through delete some old pictures? Don't nobody want to do that on no phone.
Yeah,
so
this is true. Like the type in and stuff like that, depending on what kind of phone you have, it's easier to just, that's good. That is good.
So on an even better note, Black Ops. Nobody has been able to tear me off of this game yet. However, Black Ops 2, in the first 24 hours, they made more than $500 million. I don't know, I was part of that. My $60 went right into that $500 million. Yeah. It actually seems like less people are playing. You know, when I play, I've noticed that it's harder to connect with other people, but I think it's just a few bugs that, you know, they rushed it out. Call of Duty always comes out in November, so I think they rushed it, but I know they emailed us today saying that they're working on a patch for lagging because if you, you don't play, but if you were to play, when you play online, sometimes the game lags and then you're shot because you can't physically move. So they were just saying, you know, they're coming out with a patch for that, and things should be fixed in the next few weeks. So.
And she brought up a good point. I don't play, so when I hear this, and I hear this, what, $5 million? $5 million. I think like recession.
$500 million.
$500 million. I think like recession. Where is the recession happening here?
That's what we do.
This could help a lot of hungry children. Oh my gosh.
Okay, see, it's easier to forget you're poor when you are kicking butt in some Mexican town. Okay, when you are kicking some little Mexican kids' butt,
you gotta buy the game to kick butt,
you forget
right?
you're poor.
But you gotta buy the game first. You
when
gotta
I
buy
have a sucky day, I come home and I shoot some people.
But you gotta buy the game.
I didn't buy it. The family
Did she
bought
say that?
it.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
Bought it.
It was purchased.
It was purchased.
We're gonna leave it as it was purchased.
So, if you got it, go get the game. If you have other priorities, don't do it.
Yeah. Priorities. We talked about that. Violence. On the note of violence, so there was a teen arrested. Teens.
Please don't tie this with Black Ops.
No, it's violent. So teens were arrested in Attica in a car of vandalism. So it was a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, if I'm correct, and they vandalized 28 cars. What the heck was going on? Like 28 cars, and you know the traditional rock through the window shield and stuff like that. So yeah, those guys, they're arrested right now. They won't give out their names because they're teens, but just the fact that that's going on right now, I don't know. I bet you it started with Black Ops. And violent.
Oh, really? Like do you? Because you don't throw rocks and cars.
But you still shoot people. So what? It's violence. Violence spurs.
Okay. Anyway, I think it's amazing that they pursue this in a town with like a maximum facility prison there. Like I've been to Attica prison on a school trip. Yes, those were the school trips we took, and it is scary. Like. It's like you walk in and you just feel your soul is being sucked out of there to be devoured by prisoners. It's awful. It's gray. It's dank. It feels like it's always moist in there for some reason. And even when we were driving through the town, it just looked like a prison city. Like, you know how some cities become so wrapped around?
Yeah.
So it was just like, whoever's living in Attica probably works at the prison or, their parents work at the prisons and they've had to relocate for that reason. So I feel like, prison is never a very good deterrent. However, if I see it on my way to school every day, it would deter me. So.
And they got schools and stuff like that. They have schools
It's
in
interesting
Attica.
that they still did it.
You know what? I actually saw, it was a show I was watching and they were making a point, and it wasn't a local show. Attica is pretty local to us. It's not that far from where we are in Rochester, New York. And it was a nationwide show, and they were talking about some of the safest communities in the United States. And Attica actually came up. And it's kind of interesting because
Safe for people, but not for cars.
apparently, because the law enforcement there, but I don't know what the heck they were doing when 28 vehicles.
That's probably the whole population of this.
It is really small. So they like, I don't know. Did they go to like every car park like?
Just every single one.
And this is like, this is rocks
That
and
had
stuff.
to be like they devoted hours towards that because Attica isn't like the city where it's house on house on house. It's like here's a house,
Here's some
you
land.
drive, you keep on driving, and then there's another house. So they devoted hours to get those 28
And
cars.
$50,000 worth of damage.
Wow.
What this is the money, man. 50,000, 50 million, 500 million. Like what?
Wow, that's interesting.
Too much for me.
So in other local news, I'm still stuck on that actually. But in other local news, the death of the RIT student, which was horribly sad. I know it was like such a freak accident, shocked people. Well, I should probably get into it.
Yeah, I don't
so
know it.
Alex Ketchik, or as most of his friends knew him, AK, he went to school without walls here. He went there since 7th grade, and then he went to RIT for film and animation. And he was a big juggler. I know he loved to juggle. He was actually, from what I hear, a performing juggler. Like he's actually been paid to do it. Yes, juggling, like juggling.
Okay.
Yeah, he was really good too. And he also climbed a lot of things. I think it's 46 mountains in the Appalachians, maybe. And I know he's climbed 42, and he's climbed 36 of them.
What?
Yeah, so
like
he climbs
I'm
everything.
thinking rock walls, like that's his
Like
thing.
the man. So, what happens is there's this apartment complex on campus on RIT called Province, and they have balconies on the exterior part, like towards the road. And he was climbing from the 2nd floor balcony to the 3rd floor balcony, which it sounds like really crazy, but if you drive by, it's crappy apartments, so it's not like high ceilings. So, and he's climbed so much. And apparently he's done it so many times before. He's climbed to the aforementioned 3rd floor balcony.
And the same province at the same?
That night, he just slipped. So he slips and falls, and he's in a coma for about 2 weeks. And
wow.
the only part of his brain that wasn't damaged was the stem. So they said, if he does wake up, which was already highly unlikely, he would have to be in a nursing home. And for a guy who's climbed 36 mountains in juggling, that's not going to fly. So
it's another kind of death for him.
Yeah, so his parents, he was an only child. His parents decided, not to let him live that way. And it just, I know it took everyone just by shock that this happened. He was an amazing guy.
Wow. He devoted his life kind of to this, and he done it so many times before that one accident cost him his life.
So they're wondering if someone, egged him on, because that Friday night was actually a few nights before Hurricane Sandy. So it was raining a lot those nights. It was windy, very windy, and so they're saying maybe
weather
those
conditions.
elements, yeah. So in honor of AK's death, we have chosen to show his senior project. He was at School Without Walls, and he chose animation. That's what he chose to major in. And he did this really, really cute video called No Unicycles in the Gym. So here it is. I truly hope you enjoy that video as much as I know everyone at School Without Walls did, and we are all continuing to do so. If you would have any kind of news whatsoever, please feel free to leave it on our Twitter, our Facebook, email us, do whatever you can to get your news out to us. We love to talk about local youth and what they're doing out here. If you have any condolences for AK, his family can be reached. CrawfordFuneralHome.com. They're taking condolences there. And I believe if you just have any feedback, maybe you're a super cool Black Ops person, feel free to leave that for us too.
Your name, so Tiana can
So that I can murder you.
play.
Play you. In all seriousness, play you. Thank you, and I hope to see you again.
I'm Jordan A. Smith.
I'm Tiana Manning.
And this has been Talkback for Teen News. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, whatever.
Instagram, too.
Instagram. And on our blog site, Talkback14's the number 4. Thank you. I'm Jordan A. and we're back, and I have gained some friends. Today I have an alumni for Talkback for Teen, a new co-host, and our intern producer. Would you guys like to go around and introduce yourself?
My name is Dean Lawrence.
I'm Tatiana Lovejoy. And my name is Shantanique Cowens.
Alrighty, and Dean is our new co-host, and Tatiana is our alumni, and Shantanique is our intern producer. And just to get back into the question, remember the topic is sports and education. How do we balance the two? I had a very brilliant question that I wanted to ask, and I find myself wondering this even now. If you can play for a team and be the best player on the team, but the team is not so good, or if you could play for a team where you're the worst player on the team, but the team is great, which player would you be? Which team would you play for?
I play for the team that I'm the worst player and that everyone else is better than me.
Yeah.
Because that way we can, it's not all about me, it's about
It'd
the
be
team.
more fun
so
because you would win.
you would actually win, yeah.
You would learn from the team.
So you guys want to win?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree, but if I was like the star player, I would take some of my time to teach the less better players to be better.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather be on the worser team and like enjoy it.
Wow, that's
Victory.
sincere. I like that.
I'd be on the worst team because I would motivate the other kids and be a role model to them to do better.
You guys have good reasons for being on the worst team. I think I would just be on the worst team just because I want to be a good player and I want everybody screaming my name. But at the same time, I want to affect everyone else. So I like all of those reasons.
I think that I'll be on the worst team. 'Cause at least I'd be like a team player. I wouldn't quit. See, I was the worst player on my cross country team, but they still cheered for me.
I actually had a situation where I joined volleyball for the first time last year, and I had the option. I was like kind of in between as far as skill level, even though I've never picked up volleyball before. So I had the option of being on the worst team and getting more playing time, or being on the best team and getting less playing time.
Is this JV and V?
It's for varsity volleyball.
Oh, okay.
So I decided to be on the better team because I felt as though, I would grow more from being on a better team, watching everyone else, practicing with people who were better than I was. And I actually went from being the worst person on the team to being this year being actually one of the starters on the team. So it helped me, grow.
Yeah, I guess that is really important, your growth as an athlete for yourself, and a lot of times you look to your team and depend on them to get that win through, but it really is a team effort. And as long as you're ensuring the fact that you're growing, then you can help others grow.
A lot of you said you would be the worst player on the team, on the best team. What about the peer pressure that comes with that? I know a lot of times when you're on the team and you're not making a shot or you keep losing, there's a lot of, pressure from the team. Like, come on, and a lot of times there's insults being thrown and there's, kind of a negative, you're looked at negatively because you're not performing to, as good as everyone else may be. How would you handle that kind of dynamic with being the worst player on the best team?
That's good.
I would take a lot of my extra time just to work on at home, and improve. Just because, if I had practice, and I can see where I need my improvements, so I'll just work on it at home, and then I'll see if I have progress in, and then see where it goes. Then
I just say that I would just put it out of my mind, all the insults, all the things that people say. I just put it out of my mind, and I say, I can do better, and I'm gonna try. And if I can't do it, then oh well, I keep going, I keep trucking, keep on trucking.
Honestly, when you go for a sport, you already know if you might be good at it or if you're not. But for me, it was like being spontaneous and actually doing something for the first time. So I knew I wasn't going to be good at cross country, but I did it anyways. And I know that if I knew the way the team was going to react, I would never even went for that sport. And even if they did, I would probably say, okay, I sucked at this sport. I'll just go for something else.
Sometimes it can be rough because I know this year, with our team, we had a lot of difficulties, and it like being one of the starters. It's like everyone expects so much out of you. They expect you to be the best. You make every serve's a great serve. You dominate the team. You blow every team out. But it's not like that every time. You win some and you lose some. And there'd be times where we're down and we're losing, and you'd hear the negative comments, and sometimes you try to block it out, but sometimes it gets to you, and it doesn't really help you, but it brings you down. And just we had to learn to what we work on, what we need to work on as a team when we meet in our huddle, and try and go from there in order to turn the game around.
Well, most of you guys are athletes. What is your greatest motivation? Does that motivate you? Because just as Shantanique was describing, people expecting a lot from the starters, and they're getting angry with you because you're not performing as you usually do. Does that motivate you? What really motivates you in the game when it's like 0-3 and your team is on 0? What motivates you? What keeps you going?
Well, if you've done well in a sport before and you're just not up to your game, I'm sure it would motivate you. But if let's say you're just not really a good player on the team, I'm sure it would get you down all the negative comments. So it kind of depends on the skill you are on.
Well, what motivates you as your position in the player? What motivates you?
Well, it's nice to get good things said about you and compliments and stuff, but sometimes, when the say coach yells at you, you gotta get better so that he won't yell at you anymore.
Oh, okay.
If something motivates you in the game and you're realizing and you get bad comments, it might get you a little mad. So then, do you want to prove the person wrong by maybe coming back and stuff like that? So, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, my bad, I shouldn't have said that.
The biggest motivation for me is I take the insults and I turn it into positive for me. If somebody says dude, the game is almost over and we need to score. I will probably have a little time with myself, and I'll tell myself this happened once. This game it only happens once. You can't go back in time and redo what you did. So I'll just try as hard as I can not to mess up.
Usually the negative comments, they usually motivate me to do better instead of getting me down, because some of them are just cruel. Some of them are saying you can do better. You're not doing well. And that just motivates me to do better.
Would you say the negative motivates you more than the positive comment?
No, I think the positive for me helps me get better and just say, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes if it's
Or if
you
it's-
suck and you're horrible, just get out of here. It's kind of will bring you down. But if you're saying, come on, man, that was a really bad pass, just do better. That would probably,
Constructive.
yeah.
Criticism,
Okay.
that's what I was going to
Constructive,
say, yeah.
I was raised I love coaches that always pushed me to do better. They weren't soft and oh, good try. I would if they say they ask me how many push-ups I can do, and I say 10. They say give me 30, and I'll say oh my god, I can't do that.
They don't
And
go
they'll
up by
push me.
5.
Yeah, so I'll just try as hard as I can.
Yeah.
When I did sports, we didn't have games or keep score. We just really kept time. If you got a better time, then you'll do better. But what I've seen because we have a lot of sports at my school, but our main sport is mainly basketball, and it gets really rough when it comes to basketball. If we have another school coming to our school and they start talking junk, it gets serious. So even though if we do bad in one game, if we come back next year, we try to do a lot better. We try to crush them. That's what we try to do when it comes to my school.
You know what? I think sports, in a way, it unifies you. It unifies you as a school because it makes you, even if you're losing or you win it makes you take pride in your team. And it makes you feel a part of a team. Even though I don't play sports, I feel a part of my school and part of the movement, and I feel like I belong in a place. And so I feel like, yeah, it gives you a position, it gives you a name. At the end of the game, and you know you're coming down, you have like 3 seconds on the scoreboard, and you're clearly losing. Do you play as hard? Do you still play as hard?
Yeah, because like I've played in many games where it's like we're down by like whatever 20 runs and then we come back. So there's still motivation to play your hardest and try to fight it. If you lose by 5, it's not as bad as losing by 22. So
Oh, okay, all right. So we're looking at the whole picture, not just like win or lose. It's really points putting it in there.
When I played basketball, like if like at halftime, if we're like down by 20, I always think to myself, I'm like, this is impossible. They're too good for us. But always my teammates and my coach say, we can do it if we don't give up. And usually we end up with a win because we try our hardest.
So getting back to the balance of the academics, throwing academics back in there, what do you feel like is the key? You guys all seem like you have a pretty good head on your shoulders. What do you feel like is the key to the balance of academics in your sport and just allowing them to come together to make a well-rounded person?
I think balancing your time is the most key thing. Because, like, me, as a person, I play 3 sports in 1 year.
Which are?
Which are volleyball, basketball, and softball.
Mm-hmm.
And I like all 3 of them, and I like playing them. But as far as academics, I also keep my grades up, and top, of my class, and the top percentage of my class. And the thing is, with me, it actually helps that I play several sports because I feel as though, because I play all those sports, I have to document my own time as well as saying, well, I have this much time to do homework, then I gotta go home and I gotta make sure I do this. So it like helps keep me on track with, well, I know what time I get out of practice, put some time aside to do homework. And you gotta learn to find like a balance, rather if you have to drop a sport in order to balance out your grades in your sports, or either way, like another way for someone else.
I think making a schedule is really important, like balancing your time, thinking about your day ahead of time, and thinking about where you can fit your homework in, or where your practices are and stuff like that too.
Yeah, time management is definitely important, but setting your priorities straight is too. Like seeing which sport you want to do more, or how important to you is academics to sports versus sports.
I think if you just work hard, then you can play hard.
Wow, work hard, play hard. I like that.
I think that if you put school before your sports, you get school done, do your homework, and then you go right to your sport.
For me, it'll be different because I juggle a lot of things in just my sport. I juggle academics, college things because I was a senior in high school, and then a job on top of that. So I try to make a schedule, but I always have like a study hall or something to do my work. But when it comes to my academics, if I don't have a good grade, then I can't race or nothing like that.
He said something interesting, he said, make sure you get your work out of the way first and then go to sports. How many of you feel the same way? Or is it like sports holds a priority over your academics in any way?
What he said was right. Like, I know for our school we have, if your grades aren't that good, you should be working with a teacher after school to get those grades done, and your coaches can understand that you have to do that first, or else, it's either get your grades good and, waste a little practice time and play more for the team, or not have good grades and not play for the team at all. You have to pick which one is more important.
Well said. I'm Jordan A. Smith, and this is Talk Back for Teens. Please don't forget to follow our Twitter and our Facebook, and even follow us on Instagram. If you want to be a part of the conversation, go to talkback4teens, 4.com, and continue to post, continue to blog with us. Thank you. gotta be some